Hey, fellow Patriots, Bravo Echo here. I wanted to stop by and um, talk to you for a few moments. It's been a few weeks since the first of the year. Happy New Year to you. I apologize for just now getting a video posted for 2023. We had a couple of guests scheduled to do videos with, and they came down ill on three occasions actually, and along with my own personal travel and teaching engagement um, after a long week of work and travel. So no excuses, just life and its reality. So again, happy 2023 to you. Hope you had a great Christmas and you got time to relax and enjoy family wherever you may be. And there were a couple items I wanted to talk about, and if you're not familiar with, bring to your attention. So the first item is we were afforded an opportunity for some folks to take part in participating in an EMP exercise scenario. I've received feedback from about 30% of those individuals so far, and I appreciate their feedback on it and their honest evaluation of their own preparedness level in the event of an EMP or CME, um, the impact it would have on them, and how prepared they are or they're not. The timing of this exercise is really good, and I'm sure it wasn't planned that way. Um, there is a lot of discussion right now involving the Russia response on different things that could happen in Ukraine. And this isn't from mainstream news or from alternative news. This is from historians who have studied Russia, and more specifically the current Russian military and possible responses. And it's interesting that some of them have stated they believe that Putin would opt to attempt to use an EMP over the United States before he would use a nuclear weapon of sorts. So that and the ongoing threat every day of an EMP weapon or some type of cyber attack against our grid. Granted, if they take it down and we are unable to respond to the cyber attack for what duration the grid could be down, it would be permanently damaged, is a difference of opinions from many levels. Also, there's a lot of activity coming off the sun the last 90 days, and the increasing risk of a possible coronal mass ejection or a CME that could impact our grid. So folks who took part in the EMP exercise, again, thank you. And hopefully you got some tough questions that you had to really evaluate your preparedness level for an EMP or a CME. The second item that I wanted to talk about for a minute is I know that our government is talking about how the economy is getting better and the number of unemployed numbers are dropping, and things are improving across the fruited plain. But the reality is the supply chain has not been fixed, and we're seeing more and more shortages, and the items that are um, being identified um, are impacting. One of them is baby food. We heard a lot about this last summer, and then it died down. But the truth is, in a lot of regions where typically you could go in a store, a grocery chain of sorts, and have an abundance to pick from, there's less and less stock being put out, in some cases no stock being put out for baby food, some cases food for cats and dogs, some areas dairy. Some regions are now paying as much as $10 to $12 for an 18 pack of eggs in the grocery store. At the same time, it appears the government and some state governments are clamping down even harder on private families owning chickens. So chicken is an important, I'm sorry, chickens for eggs is an important part for many folks, their diets to have. And being able to walk out to where you house your chickens at and pull eggs is an important part of your plan. So keep these things in mind. If you go to buy a number 10 can of dehydrated eggs, powdered scrambled eggs, in some cases they're as much as $50 to $55 for a number 10 can. When I bought mine a few years back, I was paying in the $15 to $18 range for a number 10 can. So it's not improving. In some places, they can't even find eggs. Folks are having to drive to 4 and 5 stores to simply find eggs. And that's not even taking into consideration the price that they're having to fork out. So these things are not getting better. A lot of the stores, when you walk through, the shelves look fully stocked. If you go and look, they're pulling all the items. They have workers walking the aisles, pulling all of the resources to the front of the shelves. But if you go and look closely, a lot of the items are 1 and 2 deep. There's not the bulk stock that you once could find. Now, keep in mind, we function as a country under a supply system is just-in-time supply, meaning every time you buy something, it's scanned and it feeds it back to a warehouse. If it's available, they pack it and send it to your store. Well, these items are not in the warehouse and they're not coming to the store. And I'm hearing stories and being told that the delivery trucks that are coming in with half the items that are needed and ordered through the supply system. On a fully stocked system, we have a 3-day supply. That's 3 days of food, 3 days of pharmaceuticals, and 3 days of fuel. So if they're not getting their full supply, that means if everything stops, and the average, without any kind of panic or run on items in grocery stores, we're setting at about a day and a half to a 2-day stock, and the items are out. So keep preparing, do your best, stock what you can. Growing season's coming up soon. If you've never planted anything, do it. Now's the time to learn versus when you're desperately needing those items from a garden and you try to grow for the first time. Okay, you can do it. Keep trying. Okay, because it could turn out by summer, especially if things escalate on the next topic I'm going to talk about. The supply chain could get even worse. So moving along to the next item, that's the Ukraine Russian war. One of the concerns that I'm seeing, just based on open source stories, is that based on the number of the amount of munitions to allow the forces in Ukraine to use the weapon systems that are being shipped to them by the United States. The United States government is draining down our wartime ready supplies. What this means is they're shipping more than you're manufacturing. Therefore, if an event occurred, an aggression against the United States, the wartime ready amount that has been predetermined is less than that amount now. This is not good news. You may have heard in the past week that the United States, Germany, and the United Kingdom are now shipping tanks to Ukraine. Russia has already voiced they see this as an aggression. This is clearly drawing it into a war between Russia and NATO. Ukraine is just the ground where it's at. Russia has already voiced they will not tolerate these aggressions against the Russian nation. And a President Putin ally, Medvedev, came out this week and publicly announced, you can look it up, it's all over the news, publicly announced that if Russia were to lose the war, it would almost guarantee a Russian final response of using nuclear weapons. So this regional conflict between the Ukrainians and Russia, if you want to believe that, is quickly escalating. There are NATO troops on the ground in Ukraine, so it really is not a Russian-Ukrainian war. It is a Russian-NATO war. So keep your eyes kind of focused on that. It could quickly spread throughout Europe and the Middle East because there's a lot of players involved taking sides in the conflict. Okay, so keep that in mind. The last item I want to mention to you is natural disasters. I know a lot of folks in the preparedness world, they read these post-apoc books, and that's perfectly fine if it motivates them to get into preparedness and prepare. Something's better than nothing, right? But if you look over the last few years, the number of natural disaster type events, from droughts, floods, things of that, fires, things of that nature. If you search deep and pay attention, there is a lot of discussion on an increased number of natural disasters coming for 2023 that could be bigger than your basic regional drought, regional flood, and things of that nature. We're talking major earthquakes, solar flares, the potential of things we've not witnessed before becoming visible for the average individual here in the United States and here on Earth, that are going to be impacting um, potentially impacting our way of life. So we'll see how that goes. It's just something, um, as Festus and I have always done here for Hope for Survival. We read information, we look for supporting information. If we can't validate it, we put it in a filing cabinet mentally. And when something surfaces down the road, we reflect back to what we had read previously, and we're trying to find supporting information to validate um, any kind of threat, whether it's man made or natural disaster. So, not to add more Brussels sprouts on your already crowded plate, but um, between um, more government restrictions on your First, Second, Fourth Amendment rights, we have wars that could potentially expand at any time. And discussions of more natural disasters, national debt, on and on and on. This is why, again, I beat this drum. This is why, to the best that you can, establishing a community team somehow, some way to know the people around you. If everything ended today at midnight and you no longer had access to the net, access to news, you couldn't use the internet for anything at all, no cell phones, whatever it may be, you have to rely on those who are around you. You are all, we are all going to need one another. Okay, so now's the time to continue trying to ensure your neighbors around you have start them out at a week, 2 weeks, build it up to a month, and continue building up on it. Um, the more you can get them involved to understand the need to be self-prepared and self-reliant. Um, you want to do it now and not after a major event when it's potentially too late. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But think positive, keep your faith, stay grounded. Best you can, avoid fear porn. If you go listen to podcasts, find ones that give you good information to help you and to not cause you to fret and get depressed. You're no good to yourself when you're depressed and can't get one foot in front of another. So again, I'll try to get more videos out to you. I have some thoughts in mind of some new ways to do some things. It's just time is not always my best friend. So we'll do our best. But thanks for tuning in. Thank you much for your support to Hope for Survival. And be safe and may you be blessed. Thank you for checking out the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. If you are new to Hope for Survival, you can check out our books at our webpage. Book 1, which is Hope for Survival, Getting You Prepared for Disasters, and Book 2, Hope for Survival, The Mindset, are both available for order on the website. We also offer the Hope for Survival football stick, which is a memory stick set up as a digital filing cabinet with files already loaded on there for you to digitally copy items such as deeds, auto transcript for ownership, wills, living wills, loans, banking information, items that if your home burned down or you had some form of a disaster, you could have all your important papers already digitally filed on this stick. All you do is simply drag the digital file into the appropriate preset folder so that you'll have it in the event of a disaster. You have to flee your home in a hurry, or also if you're away from home and you need critical information that's personal, If you have your memory stick with you, you can put it in your computer and pull that information up wherever you may be. Again, you can find these items to order at our website, https www.hopeforsurvival.com, or you can email me at preparedness101@protonmail.com, and I will try to help you out. Again, thanks for checking out the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. Hope to see you again.